Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to another live. What is this? Number three today, I think. Yeah, number three. This is my third live today. So, what we are waiting to find out now is if Diddy will get bail. There is a bail hearing scheduled for 5 o'clock today. From what I understand, Diddy's family is in the court right now. And pardon me. So we're just waiting to see. Let's see. Combs's family is arriving at court ahead of bail hearing. Members of Sean Diddy Combs' family are arriving at the courthouse as we wait for the music mogul's bail hearing to get underway. Combs's daughters were seen exiting a van outside the courthouse. His sons were also seen at the courthouse. The hearing is scheduled to begin at 5 p.m. So it is 5:05 now. Let me just check and see uh, from other sources if the proceedings have actually started. So let me hold on, and I will. If I get to anything that has anything good for you all to see on your screen, I'll definitely pull that up. 15 seconds ago, someone inside the courtroom said Combs' lawyers Agnifilo, Alexandra Shapiro, Terry Garagos emerged from the holding cell, still waiting for Sean Combs to be brought into the courtroom by U.S. Marshals. So that's where we are right now. I shared with you all in my last live that once it was known that there would be a bail hearing today at 5 o'clock, we saw a few letters. Of course, we saw the one from the defense requesting that Diddy be released until his sentencing. And then we saw one from Deontay Nash, who was a witness in the trial, if you recall, who was an assistant, more so an assistant for Cassie, and is still one of Cassie's friends. He testified during the trial. And then we saw a letter from Cassie's attorney that included in it supposedly a statement from Cassie, where she was saying, don't let him out. It's not safe out here if you let him out. So we are going to see. Let's see. Jersey Girl said he probably going to let him slip and slide on out of there today. I think so too. I really think the odds are why am I stumbling? I really think the odds are in his favor that he's gonna go home this afternoon. I think he pissed off the wrong person and they wanted to let him know we could put you in your place. This was a reality show. Well, let's hope for Diddy it was also a reality check. Okay, because his track record is not good on learning after you have, managed to escape something horrendous. If you look back over his history, he doesn't tend to learn. So I'm hoping for his sake, and really, I'm honestly hoping for his kids' sake, especially those girls who lost their mom already. I am hoping for their sake that he gets his shit together. He gets his shit together. Now, he then collapsed in the courtroom today, fell to his knees and started praying and thanking God that he was found not guilty of the most serious charges. Okay. What will that result in? Because in 2001, and I'm just chatting with y'all until we start getting feedback from what's going on in the court with the bail hearing. But in 2001, there is still video footage out there when Diddy was acquitted of all charges. That was in connection to the shooting at the club. And he then said, oh, this is life changing. And, I prayed. I want to thank God. I want to thank my mom. I did it. Probably a lot of the things he's going to say today. So we'll see. I was talking about this case earlier with my daughter. I said, well, we're not going to really know if Diddy changes his behavior at all. The only way we'll know if there's like no new criminal charges against him. Because at the end of the day, I'm sorry, his track record just says he doesn't learn. But again, I do hope for the sake of his children that maybe he can manage maybe he can manage to do something different this time. Uh, Exquisite, I do not disagree with you. He definitely is into some things that is not what most people would consider the norm. I think though when the jury heard this case or took in all the evidence, they walked away from it thinking that he may be a lot of things. He may be a nasty, super nasty freak doing things that most of us could never imagine doing. But from how they decided on the trafficking charges, I would say they either believe it was consensual or they believe that the government did not do enough to prove those charges. Obviously, that was the jury's position because they found him not guilty. And the thing about it is too, not guilty doesn't mean you didn't do the thing, but at the end of the day, this is our system and this is how it works. Okay. The only out of all of the charges, I knew for sure that the prostitution charge was going to be a slam dunk. There was no shades of gray in that to me. If I were a juror, I would not have found him guilty pretty much for anything related to Jane. I do not believe Jane was a victim. I just don't, based off of her testimony and the things that we saw in the messages. I thought the jury would find him guilty of trafficking Cassie, and I really thought they would find him guilty of that when they asked for certain information while they were deliberating. I thought for sure they were going to find him guilty of that, but they did not. So we are here now. He has been found guilty of the 2 counts of prostitution. Both carry a maximum sentence of up to 10 years. If you listen to the lawyers who are talking about this now, they say there's absolutely no way he's going to get 20 years. They don't think he'll even get 10 years. Some people are guessing that he may get 1 or 2 years, and some people are even saying he'll probably, excuse me, get probation and credit for time served. Who knows? Everybody's guessing just like they were guessing before the verdict came down. So who knows, right? All of that remains to be seen. So let me just check and see if we're getting any notes from inside the courtroom. At this point, they said Sean Combs has been brought in, sits next to Tenny Garagos, reading. Agnifilo walks over to the lectern, then back over to his seat. Prosecutors are in place at the front table, and they are waiting on the judge. Okay. So let's just see. I see Exquisite is doing a lot of comments. Hey, Exquisite, thank you for stopping by my channel. I appreciate the support. Let me just check out some of your comments here. Diddy don't care about his daughters and he will never learn. Amazing how we think about his daughters yet abuse other daughters. You can care about his daughters. Just because somebody did something to somebody else's daughters doesn't mean that you're like, okay, well, F your daughters. I mean, you don't want to see anything happen to anybody's daughters. So, of course, you still care about his daughters. Why would you not? Especially these girls are like, what, 18, 19? He is a criminal and is more than being a freak. Okay. He is okay. At the end of the day, the jury did not feel that the government proved their case. I am not a Diddy supporter. I am not a Diddy defender. I can also tell you I was more than okay with Diddy going to prison for any legitimate charges and things they could prove. The only charge that really made me feel away was the RICO charge. I do not believe this was a RICO case. I stand 10 toes down on that. And if I were the juror on this case, I would have never convicted him of RICO. I too would have voted not guilty. Okay. I would have never voted him guilty on trafficking Jane. I would have definitely voted guilty on the prostitution charges. And I don't know what I would have done with the trafficking with Cassie, because I think I actually lean more towards voting him guilty on that. I think I lean more towards voting him guilty on that. I don't know if anybody could have convinced me otherwise if I was actually a part of the jury and deliberating. But I think that's where I would have found myself standing on that. So let's see if we have. Yeah, sure. This is when you really hate that we don't have a live feed into the courtroom, so we could literally see, like what's happening, what are the updates. So at this point, we're still just waiting, 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 waiting. Uh, let's see. He has destroyed many lives for decades. Nobody's denying that for sure. Diddy met Cassie at 19 years old, a year older than his daughters, the same daughters who blew kisses at Cassie as she gave her testimony. I don't know anything about them blowing kisses at Cassie while she gave her testimony. I never heard that could be. I'm not saying it didn't happen. This is just the first time hearing anything like that. But again, I have no challenge at all with saying that I wish his daughters well. And and maybe it's more so because I have a 19-year-old myself. And so I can't just imagine that had to be a hard position that he put them in, because he put them in this. Um like I said, if you go by Diddy's past track record, uh he's likely not going to learn from what he's been through, but because all of the other big things, all of the other big bullets that he's dodged in the past, if you go by what we just went through with him on this 8-week trial, he got worse. So we'll see what the future holds. But all I know is that from his past experiences and past incidents, it doesn't appear that he learns once he gets like what he got today. Because what he got today, make no mistake about it, was definitely a win. Okay. It was a win for him, and it was a win for his family. And but probably definitely a loss for some other folks, excuse me, who were entangled with him. So I think the government, in overcharging him with RICO, did a disservice to some of the other folks with some of those charges. I'm assuming in part they did that because I don't know if the kidnapping of Capricorn Clark and the bribery and the arson allegation were the statute of limitations up for that. Because if they had charged for some of those things individually instead of trying to connect it to a criminal enterprise, which most people, and clearly the jury also, did not see proof of a criminal enterprise, they might have gotten some of those convictions. I think the bribery would have been another slam dunk. Okay, but that was not a separate charge. That was a predicate act connected to the RICO charge, and people did not see RICO. I am one of people. I am one of people. I did not see all of this activity being a part of a criminal enterprise. I did not see how all of this activity contributed to the furtherance of a criminal enterprise. So I could not get on board with RICO. If they had those charges separately, if the statute of limitations had not run out, and that's just an assumption because I'm not really sure on that. But yeah, if I were a juror and they had a charge of an independent charge of bribery, and it involved when he was paying for the security tape, and it's paying for the tape with the security guys at the Intercontinental Hotel, oh, I could have voted guilty on that, but with no problem at all. With no problem at all. At all. And there's going to be disagreement. We're not going to see this alike. This will be one of those cases, like many others, where we will debate it forever because we are absolutely just not going to agree. RICO is proven based on using his company to commit crimes under RICO. Well, I disagree. I don't see it that way. I don't see it that way. I don't even see how when they got into some of the details of that, and even some of the details with the chief financial officer, and even if you ever work for a large company, and you know how sometimes you may use a company credit card even accidentally, even though that's not what Diddy did. Okay, let's be clear about that. And it's something that's charged as processes in place to charge that back or pay for it right, or whatever the case may be. At the end of the day, whether he did or not, to me, that does not equal RICO. And apparently the jury felt the same. But like I said, I respect other people's opinions, and and other people's perception of this case. I want to be absolutely clear about that, because there's a lot about this case we're not going to agree on. It's just a lot, and even when we start having deeper conversations about all of the parties and where accountability is and that type of thing, the judge denies bail for Sean Diddy. That just came up just then. Judge denies bail for Sean Diddy Combs, so he will not. Pardon me. He will not be going home today. So some people should be happy with that. That is a victory of sorts. I know it doesn't make the government feel any better because I know they are absolutely 100% reeling from the fact that they lost the RICO charge and the SA charges. But the judge has denied bail for Diddy. Let's see here if they have any more information around what he said. Uh, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? That was that from earlier in the day? Okay. Okay, I'm just trying to see if on X if they give any more details to what was said, because the prosecutors and also the defense attorneys had to produce letters. Um, so let's see. This is what the judge said. I read the parties' submissions and others. The jury convicted the defendant of counts 3 and 5 for the following reasons. Bail is denied. Even if the defendant was solely required to show that he is not a danger to the community, he could not meet that burden. Prior to trial, the court denied bail and sees no reason to reverse that now. The defense conceded the defendant's violence. Okay. So that should make a lot of folks happy. That should definitely make a lot of folks happy that he will stay incarcerated until his sentencing, and then we will have to see what happens with his sentencing hearing. But for now, he will remain incarcerated. Okay. Um, and so, like I said, there's going to be a lot of discussion. There's going to be a lot of discussion tonight about what has happened. There's going to be a lot of different opinions, just like there has been throughout these proceedings. And so, we'll just have those conversations. I think that may be a good thing. But I think we all have to understand that at the end of the day, we're not all going to agree. We're just not. And so that is what it is. And we'll continue to have the conversations because I think his family probably was very excited and hoping that he would be home today. But that was not the decision made by the judge. And that's probably a good thing, quite frankly. Let's not make it too easy for him. Let's see. So is there anything else out here from inner city? Let's see. I think I may have. Just 1 second. Let me just see. Okay. From what the judge is saying, I don't know if the judge was too happy with the jury's decision. Let's see what he said. Even if the defendant was solely required to show that he is not a danger to the community, he could not meet that burden. Prior to the trial, the court denied bail and sees no reason to reverse that now. The defense conceded the defendant's violence. His violence is depicted in the video of Cassie Ventura. The defense admitted this is a terrible moment. Domestic violence is the issue, is what she said. It wasn't only that. There was the London hotel incident. There was violence after the searches in this case. As to Jane, there was June 2024 after the searches of Combs's residences. This evidences a disregard for the law and a propensity for violence. Okay, the judge is not here for any such bail request. He is not having it. Okay. I'm looking here, and let me go ahead and share my screen so you all could see what I'm seeing too. The judge, a lot of people are going to be very happy about this, considering the big losses for the people who especially may have wanted him to be convicted on all charges. And there's a lot of people who are going to be upset about this. They are going to be really, really upset about this because they feel like Diddy, since he was acquitted of the more serious charges, they feel like he should have been given bail. So again, like I said, we if anybody's trying to make somebody just see it their way, it's a futile battle, because at the end of the day, there's not going to be 100% agreement on what happened or all the facets in this case. There may be agreement on some things and not others, and you may find people who are 100% in agreement with you. But yeah, it's just that type of case. Let's see. So you should see on your screen now what I'm looking at. And let me just make it a little bit larger here in case somebody is trying to read this. Okay, so we ended there with there was violence after the searches in this case. As to Jane, there was June 2024 after the searches of Combs' residences. This evidence is a disregard for the law and a propensity for violence. Diddy, I don't know what that sentence gonna look like for these charges that you got convicted of. Let's see. Somebody commented, this doesn't make sense because the prosecution did not meet the burden of the violent charges they made against Diddy. This makes no sense because the transportation of prostitution isn't violent, and this proves that the judge is biased. The video was based on domestic violence, but that wasn't the charge. A lot of people are going to feel that way. Someone else said, clock it, judge. So that's somebody who is 100% in alignment with the judge, facts judge. All right, now they need to appeal this. Somebody who's not in agreement with what the judge is saying. Somebody else said, I love this judge, and the defense should appeal this. So, like I was saying earlier, opinions are going to be all over the place, as it has been from the start of this case. That will continue. It is here and evident even in these comments at this phase. After he's sentenced, it will continue. After he's once again a free person, the debate will continue. Let's see. Someone said bloop, bloop, bloop. So that's somebody who's like they are 100% in agreement with how the judge is kind of laying down the hammer right now. The judge is kind of laying down the hammer right now. Somebody else said, thank the Lord he got denied bail off the prison. You go, Diddler, Diddy fans, take that, take that. Someone else said, by judge, you are dismissed. Somebody else not agreeing with the judge. Give the MFer the maximum sentence. So that's someone else who's like, yeah, give him everything you can. Judge, you was just on his side. What the F are you doing? So yeah, and I'm sure to go on and on and on and on like this. Like, yes, Judge Cassie sleeping good tonight. Okay. Someone said the court take no position. Oh, the judge said the court takes no position on what it will consider as sentencing, nor what sentence it will impose. But here, the burden is on him, and he cannot carry it. The defense argues the guideline starts at 21 months. The U.S. says 51 months. He's done 10 months. I set sentencing for Friday, October 3rd at 10 a.m. I am willing to expedite it. The defense attorney said we would like it expedited. The judge said we will need an expedited pre-sentencing report from probation, but I will be available anytime. Nah, judge is actually being fair. I agree. DV, yep, Diddy should be in jail, pay for the violence. He largely got away with it. Look, let me tell you. And like I said, I don't change my opinion on the Rico. Rico wasn't overcharged by the government, in my opinion. But if Diddy had to stay in jail until October to this hearing, or whatever time he gets, like if the guideline starts at 21 months and he's done 10 months, or if the U.S. says it's 51 months, whatever it is, these numbers are like extremely small compared to the fact that he was facing life in prison. If he had been convicted of S trafficking, even on one count, even if they had, because I just like the jury wasn't going to find him guilty of that on Jane. They just were not. But let's say if they had found him guilty of S trafficking Cassie, the minimum mandatory sentence is 15 years. So for them to now be debating like how much time is really associated with the charges he's been convicted of, is it 21 months? Is it 51 months? He's already done 10 months. that is still something that the defense team should probably consider a win, because that is still way better than what you could have been facing. Let's see. The judge again said that we read that part about October 3rd. He's going to expedite it. Uh, let's see. And maybe what the judge is saying, and the judge being like, yeah, you may have gotten off easy today, bro, but you're not going anywhere anytime soon. Maybe that'll give Diddy a little bit more time to think. We will see. Like I said, and I will say again, Diddy's track record is one in which he does not learn. When he gets away, whether it's something where he should have caught some heat or some charges for, he gets out of it, whether it's he pays somebody off, or the charges all of a sudden get dismissed, or there's no charges, the charges get dropped, or if it's something that is horrible, if something horrible happens and he didn't get caught up in it. For example, what happened to Biggie, or even just losing somebody like Kim Porter. None of this stuff has been a reality check for him. So I have no reason to think that this situation will be a reality check for him. Okay, so all I can say is as we move forward, if I go by what his past history is, and they say the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. If I go by that, this will not be the last time we're here with him. And that's I make of that what you will. I'm just going by all of the things that he's gotten away with. Okay. Let's see. Exquisite. I'm trying to get over to your comments now. Let's see. Just hold on. Let me just see one more thing here from Inner City Press. It says there's a great divide on the sentencing guideline. I see that Ms. Comey has her statute book open. Comey says the rule required the preparation of a report absent a reasoned waiver. Probation may be able to expedite. Okay, update me by July 8th at noon. Okay, so I guess more to come on what the sentencing guidelines are, but they seem to be not sure at this point on what those sentencing guidelines are. And I'm sure you'll have all the talking heads and the different lawyers on shows tonight saying that they know. We'll see. So if they're going to be back on July 8th, or there's going to be some movement on July 8th, we'll see what that is. But right now, going by what's here, they're not sure. Let's see. The judge said, and we'll hold a hearing on the afternoon of July 8th. Your Honor has a lot of information from presiding over the trial. We want the sentencing as soon as possible. Other Mann Act cases, there's nothing remotely similar to this. Okay, so his high-priced lawyers are still fighting, and still fighting for him to get as little time as possible, if any. And so we'll see how that lands. Yeah, Exquisite. I know that those are the conspiracy theories around Kim Porter and around Diddy. I'm sorry, and around Biggie. And let's not forget the conspiracy theory also around Tupac. But again, just saying, if we were to say those conspiracy theories are not true, because that's what they are at this point. Those are big life events where you would think a reasonable person would be moved to get the shit together. And that didn't happen here. That definitely did not happen here at all. And yes, we are aware that there is a mountain of civil cases that are coming up against Diddy. We'll see how that shakes out and how many of those go forward. I know during this trial, some did move forward, and I think there might have been a couple that did not move forward. So that I know there has been some activity on some of that. And Exquisite also said, my prayers are with all the victims and survivors of Diddy and other predators. May they be protected by the Most High. And this case is more, what? Oh, wait, I think I lost the comment. It's on the screen, so I see it exquisite, but I can read it better by a little box I have on the right. Because, honey, I need to find my glasses. All right. This case is more than a disagreement. It's deeper than that. Spiritual warfare is real. Okay. All right. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot. Yes, in Tupac. Let's say they are true. None of those events made him get shit together. I agree 100%. And that's what I'm saying. If I had to put money down on will Diddy have some great revelation and all of a sudden really get to the bottom of whatever the F is wrong with him and get his shit together, if I had to put money on that, I would say no. I would say as soon as he gets out of this jail, whenever that is, he may take a few days off, maybe, to relax and chill with his family. But I think in short order, he's going to be looking for baby oil, astroglide, ketamine, and whatever else to get off. I believe that because his track record tells us. Why would we not believe that? So yeah, I don't think any of the incidents that have happened in his past has made him like get himself together at all. And he'll probably do just like how he fell to his knees in court and was praying. That's performative. That's performative. This is a man who will talk about God, talk about love, and in the same breath also tell somebody, I am the devil and I will kill you. So anything this man says about God, in my opinion, is performative. Okay. The proof is in the pudding. And his pudding has not been good for years. And when you think about what he's into, maybe the pudding analogy wasn't the best. Ugh. So, all right. But I do think July 8th, right after the holidays, will be another time where everybody is coming together. Let's see what we have here. We have another update where the defense attorney said the cases were reviewed involving defendants making money, millions, or involve minors. That's different here. That's different. Here are the facts from our letter. See, United States versus Dillon. Actually, it's a U.S. versus Dillon. Okay, okay. The judge wants to set a precedent here. Summarizing, yes, still. Sentencing is set for okay. He's facing some time, and this isn't the only case he got. There's a lot more. LOL. From a criminal perspective, it's not a lot more. Judge just got too emotional at the end. Got to make a point, haven't they? So again, this is just showing that people are still split, just like they've been through everything. Well, the sentence hearing isn't until October. He will get off with time served. That's the same jury that would elect a. Okay, we're not going to say that. Comey should read her effing book because she blew this case. She's a okay. Make an example of him, judge. So as you can see from these comments, people are still very passionate, very passionate. And there's more than just two sides also to this case. That's one thing as we were doing these lives over time, I kept pointing out. There's a large group of people who do not support Diddy at all in any of his BS, where they felt like they didn't see proof for certain things, or they thought they saw proof for certain things, but not others. And so they felt how they felt about it. That is how our system works. Okay. And then there are those people out there who are just like the free Diddy people, right? I don't know if those people are in the minority or what, but you do have those people who are the free Diddy and the system's trying to bring a black man down and all that. I do not think Diddy did this to himself. So I'm not on board with that narrative as it relates to Diddy. Now, I do think with the government overcharging him with a RICO charge, because that charge, again, in my opinion, should have never been a part of this case. I do think setting a precedent for how they were trying to use RICO in this case with Diddy would have later caused harm to a lot of other people who do not have the resources that Diddy has to fight that kind of a charge. So that is another part of why I was very happy that the jury said not guilty on RICO. All right. Somebody else said, "Dear Diddy folks, remember it was only domestic violence chant. It has come back to haunt y'all. The judge used it on y'all. No bail." Okay. Which he did. He's like, nah, you too violent to be let out in the streets. He agrees with, the letters that were written, and we got one from one of the assistants and a note from Cassie. So yeah. Somebody says the defense attorney is a horrible lawyer and has gotten many motions denied throughout this trial, and at one point told the judge, I don't know of why he didn't file a motion, and I don't know what that's supposed to mean. He's still trying to tell the court what to do. This dude used a situation from 10 years ago that has nothing to do with the case, an altercation that a woman started, not Diddy, to justify not giving him bail. You don't get more blatant than that. So again, I don't think I even have to read anymore just to say everybody's not going to agree on what this case is, what is the narratives in this story. There are some like Exquisite who thinks 100% of the accountability of what went down in this situation with all of the people involved is 100% on Diddy, and then there are others who don't think that. They think there were other people who played certain parts and also had certain accountability. Maybe he might have been the ringleader of sorts, but there's a lot of folks who thinks there's some shared accountability to go around on some of the scenarios. Okay. And for me, that never applies to the domestic violence situation at all. If anybody was listening to my lives at the beginning of this, I always said, because I knew people are so easily like they hear what they want to hear, or maybe they're so passionate about their view they just can't parse it out. But domestic violence, to me, as far as what happened to Cassie and who's accountable and all of that, to me, that was never up for debate. That was cut and dry. We all saw it. He did that. He was guilty of domestic violence. The government just didn't charge him with that. Okay, so that wasn't even debatable, though. And I also believe the other incidents that were shared about domestic violence during the trial. It wasn't hard to believe that he did those things that people said he did. Those domestic violence situations, they were not. There was no domestic violence charge in this case, though. Let's see. Ha ha ha! That he has to sit in jail for the 4th of July. So, yeah. And that comparing to him having to maybe have spent life in prison, I think he can deal with that. Let's see if there's anything else here. So they're still arguing some things. Let's see. And we'll hold it here. Okay, we went over that. The cases were reviewed involving defendants making money, millions, or involved minors. Okay, he was just going by past cases. Defense attorney said then there was the Emperor's Club case of the former governor of New York. We understand this is moving quickly. The issue for us is if we'd had more time, we could have shown extraordinary circumstances. Judge said you concede violence in your closing. Whether that's relevant to sentencing is not for today, but it can be considered on a bail application. The defense attorney said in June 2024, there's an argument that Mr. Combs was defending himself. I don't know. I think, let's see, the judge said Mr. Combs tried to get into a batterers program in New York. The jury never heard that. Then he got arrested. All these months later, here we are, the same drive to meet the head on, like the self-respecting businessman he is. Okay, good job there. Okay, the judge seems to be annoyed. I actually think at this point, the defense attorneys might need to pull back a little bit before y'all end up making Diddy get a make him end up getting a longer sentence or the maximum sentence when it comes time for sentencing, which by the tone of this judge might be what he gets, or he might get real close to it, because if this judge had to make the decision instead of that jury, I think this trial would have went another way just by going by his tone. Okay. So they're still trying to make arguments around it. The defense is, I don't know why the judge is not going to change his mind. Let's see what else we might see here. Okay. the prosecutor, and I'm just reading to you all what's on CNN side. They said Prosecutor Maureen Comey said, given the complexity of the trial and the disparity between the parties' positions on the sentencing guidelines range, she doesn't believe the court has enough information to sentence Sean Diddy Combs without a pre-sentencing investigation. Comey said the government is willing to work with the defense to move the process forward as quickly as possible. The defense attorney, Mark Agnifilo, who has suggested waiving the pre-sentencing investigation in order to expedite the sentencing schedule, said the defense believes it has strong arguments to make on Combs' behalf for a sentence below the guidelines. All right, so his highly paid, well-paid attorneys are still fighting, trying to make a case for him to get little or no time. And I can't imagine that's, I don't know. The judge's tone here to me is very telling of his view of Diddy and what he's done and how he should be held accountable. So I don't know. The defense might be actually doing more harm than good for their client at this point by trying to hammer something home. They might want to they might want to leave that alone because the judge doesn't seem yeah, this person, this is what this picture kind of sets shows what I'm saying right now. Insert foot in mouth. The defense attorney, have a good night. Yeah, you might want to stop. And Karen, y'all remember Karen? I love that show from Will and Grace. All right, the diddler is gonna be pissed at him now. Okay, well, whatever. He needs to work on his anger management, clearly, doesn't he? All right. The defense attorney said he's been a model prisoner. There have been no issues. He's going to have next chapters of his life. When you're charged with racketeering, you have dark talks. When I was reading the Mia message for his birthday, I had a hard time doing it. I have no idea where Agnifilo is trying to go with that. I have no idea where he's trying to go with that. Like, what? Are you trying to create a sob story for the judge? The judge's tone is clearly, it might be in your best interest to stop talking. Okay, so I just don't. But again, what do you think his high price lawyers are going to do? They're going to do exactly what they're doing. Somebody else in Diddy's shoes, fate would not have been what his was today. I feel certain of that. Okay. Let's see if we have anything else worth hanging around for at this moment. Because I don't see the defense getting any traction on some of these arguments they're making. Let's see. I'm gonna go back over to some of the exquisite comments. Self-respecting. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean that. Okay, there you go. Self-respecting businessman. I agree that is a joke. Let's see. His reputation and business dealings are permanently damaged beyond repair. His soul is condemned. All right, now I don't know if I want to go that far. I mean, he's still breathing. So if he's still breathing, there is still opportunity for redemption and repentance if he is really trying to go that route. So I don't know if I want to go that far. But I definitely agree that I can't see him being able to recover his reputation back to what it was. I can't see that at all. This judge is as disgusted as fair-minded people are. Well, that's how some people would see it for sure. Not only some people, a lot of people. A lot of people would feel that way. Let's see if we have another update. Okay, so this judge is not playing with this defense lawyer, and he should really stop talking. I'm going to share on my screen what I'm looking at from CNN. Hold on just 1 second. Let me pull that up. He should really just stop talking. I'd be like, Diddy, you know all those notes you were passing while this trial was going on? Because they kept talking about it. You might want to pass him a note and tell him to sit down. because it seems like he's annoying the judge to me. All right, let's see what the CNN update from 1 minute ago says. Judge is addressing the defense attorney Mark Agnafilo. You full throatedly in your closing argument told the jury that there was violence here and domestic violence is violence. And you said this is a case that did involve violence. Agnafilo responded that there's only been evidence of one instance of violence since 2018, a June 2024 altercation with Jane. Agnafilo said Combs also entered a batterers program after the Intercontinental Hotel surveillance footage was released in 2024. Jane helped Combs write the letter to get into the program. Now, see, I feel like that's dirty play, but I'm not a fan of. I'm just gonna leave that alone. Jane helped Combs write the letter to get into the program. Agnafilo said he is a man in the process of working on himself. Now, see, this is the issue I have here, right? The defense attorney is going to do this. This is what they get paid to do. Whether we think it's right, wrong, or whatever, this is what they get paid to do, and this is what they're going to do. Okay, so we just gotta go ahead and make peace with that, because the defense attorney is not going to say things to not try to get their client out of the situation, no matter how horrendous it is. But how he could even say, like, when he goes home tonight, when he's driving back home tonight, but this, he is a man in the process of working on himself. I wish I was in the car with him, because I'd love to ask him now. You don't really believe that, do you? I know you really think this man is a piece of you know what. I know you do. I know you do. Of course, you're going to, do what you got to do for your client and cash the big check. But at the end of the day, would you want this man to date somebody in your family? Would you want this man to be anywhere near anybody romantically in your family? Would you? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There is no evidence. Even like when they talk about him going into the batterers program, when did that happen? When did that happen? That happened after the video was released. So we all know what that is. It wasn't like you on your own said, okay, I got a problem. If you thought that, you would have went to the batterer program in 2016. The incident, the hotel incident, happened in 2016. You went to some battery program in 2023. You said 20, I think you said 2023. Come on, we all know what that is. You trying to do damage control. So it's just yeah, that one is just like I said. I know the defense attorneys are going to do what defense attorneys do, but that type of thing is just kind of just like, I don't know. It makes you feel away. Combs wants to speak with the judge. The defense attorney says, "What? Why?" Defense attorney Mark Agnafilo just told Judge that Combs would like to speak with him. Mr. Combs wants to talk to you, telling the court that he'll see what Combs wants to say. Is that normal? Is that normal? Is that normal? The prosecutor said Combs is an extremely violent man with an extraordinarily dangerous temper. Who can disagree with that? Prosecutor Comey says the judge is correct in his decision to keep Diddy Combs in detention, calling him an extremely violent man with a dangerous temper. What's exceptional about Combs, Comey said, is his wealth, his violence, and his brazenness. He's an extremely violent man with an extraordinarily dangerous temper who has shown no remorse and no regret for his multiple victims. Now, where people are going to get stuck on this, they're like, well, if he wasn't found guilty of SA, then, and if he was acquitted of the RICO charges, or the RICO charge that had all of those predicate acts that also included some violent instances, on what do you base this? Which I think is a fair comeback. Now, I think the judge is very clear on, I don't give a damn about none of what y'all saying right now. So why keep talking? The judge clearly does not care. Defense attorney Mark appealed to the judge one more time, saying in part, listening to Miss Comey makes me appreciate that we have juries. Ooh, it's a little messy. That's a little messy. Probably safe to say they're not friends. Um, so we'll see. I can't. Diddy wanting to talk with the judge. That is that normal? That feels like an elitist move. Let's see. Judge confirms bail is denied and sets hearing on sentencing schedule for next week. Judge again confirmed that Sean Diddy Combs' bail has been denied. He scheduled a remote hearing for next Tuesday at 2 p.m. to address the sentencing schedule. The judge is off the bench and the court is done for the day. So there you have it. There you have it. The streets, the internet streets are going to be hot tonight. There will be a tremendous amount of discord tonight. A tremendous amount of discord tonight. I'm going to even probably join another person's live on their panel to talk about what happened today. So, yeah, we're not there yet. There's still a lot more to come with this particular situation, especially with sentencing still pending. I think the judge kind of gave some foreshadowing on what is to come by his tone. So for the people out here saying, well, Diddy will probably get time served or he'll probably just only do a year. If I went by the tone of what we just heard from that judge, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. And I think Diddy is so privileged and so used to getting away with all kind of shit that I think that even him having to stay in jail right now, he's probably having a tantrum. He probably already has lost sight of, do you realize that this morning you could have had a life sentence and now you don't? Do you realize that at a minimum, you could have spent easily 15 years mandatory in prison if they had found you guilty of one trafficking charge? Do you realize that? I doubt he does, because right now he's not getting what he wanted. He wants to talk to the judge to see if he could talk the judge into letting him go. See, those are little signs. Those are little signs of that narcissistic behavior. Those are the signs of part of that personality that never learns. Never. Let's see a couple more comments from Exquisite. She agrees with the prosecutor. She said, thank the Lord, the judge denied bail. And she said also that I pray for the safety of non-Diddy supporters from the unhinged Diddy supporters. Well, I sure hope nothing. Now, up in New York, especially around the courthouse, I don't know, because from what I understand today, there were a few instances of like people arguing and this side versus that side and all of that. So I think there was a lot of stuff going on outside the courtroom today. So hopefully the police can kind of get the crowd dispersed and people just gone about take your stuff on where you need to take it, because you ain't gonna agree. So I just hope nobody gets hurt. We don't need anybody defending Diddy doing anything stupid. We don't need anybody defending Cassie doing anything stupid. It's so, enough. We don't need any of that. That doesn't help anything at all. But yeah, it was a little bit tense outside the courtroom today. So, well, that's it. I am going to log out. This will probably be, well, I know I still got to do a couple of more Diddy lives, especially when it's time for sentencing, and that for sure. And maybe this hearing that they're going to have before sentencing, maybe. And then it'll probably be it. And quite frankly, for me, I'm kind of glad to kind of wrap it up, because I have been following this trial all the way and doing these lives, and it has been a lot. Let's see what Exquisite is saying here. The Diddy supporters are violent. They are violently harassing content creators. I watched a live stream where Atisa was harassed by a supporter. That's horrible. That's horrible. That's horrible. And the police need to round their ass up and let them spend July 4th in jail because that's horrible. I saw Tisa earlier um, when the verdict came out, and she was so heartbroken. And I love her. I love her energy. And I knew she was going to be heartbroken because I had been listening to her. So I knew how strongly she felt about so much of what I knew how she was going to respond to what happened today. Let us not make this about both sides. The abuse is coming from the look. I'm not going to do that because, and the only reason why I say I'm not going to do that because I didn't see that. I'm going by what you're saying to me, and so I didn't see that. All I'm simply saying is that people are passionate. The people who there's a subgroup of Diddy supporters who are very passionate and whack jobs, who are very passionate about free Diddy. There are people also who support Cassie and maybe even perhaps Jane, who they are also passionate. And there may be a few within that group who are also whack jobs. Whack jobs could be on any side of this whole discussion that we're having. So all I'm simply saying is at the end of the day, we don't need nobody to pop off and get violent or do anything like that. So that's all I'm saying. All right. Uh Okay, I don't think any of us can speak to what all anybody's supporters are doing. So again, I just nobody should be being harassed. People should stop messing with the content creators. Tisa might even need to turn her comments off for a while because I can see a whole lot of keyboard gangsters going over there trying to pretty much terrorize her because of how the outcome shook out, and that is horrible. Uh What is the unhinged and violent who haven't risen to the level of harassment? Okay, hold on. Let me just let me put your comment on the screen, exquisite. And I'm reading it a little bit slow because I still hadn't found my glasses and trying to read the small print. I have seen it. I have followed since day one. Diddy supporters are unhinged and violent who haven't risen to the level of harassment the Diddy supporters have done. Who haven't risen to the level. I think I get what you're saying there. I'm not going to argue about it because I'm definitely not trying to defend anybody. I'm just saying I simply don't want to see anybody get hurt. I can speak to it because I have followed it since day one from all angles. Gotcha. Gotcha, exquisite. Gotcha. And I also appreciate you being here and putting your feedback and your thoughts and how you feel about it here. So just know that I definitely respect your perspective and your position and the things that you've noted here, for sure, for sure. All right, so I think outside of like I said, me probably hopping on a panel maybe tonight to talk about this a bit more, or maybe not. I'm almost starting to feel a little burnout about it. Um, okay. She said on I'm sorry, let me show the comment. She says on different platforms, Diddy supporters are aggressive, worse than Cassie or pro prosecution. Okay. Okay. Well, then I hope they're dealt with in whatever way that has to be done. And because that there's no, I don't understand that because at the end of the day, like I said, Diddy, I don't understand where there's any kind of debate about Diddy. I mean, Diddy is clearly a horrible person. Okay. Diddy, before we even knew about the degree to which he is a horrible person, we already know all the other stuff we knew. He's a horrible, deplorable person. So if there's anybody who's like out there toting signs and free puff shirts and all that, they are I already 100% agree that they are idiots. Right. And I don't, when you say you see on different platforms, data supporters are aggressive. Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. And you got a lot of keyboard gangsters. You got a lot of keyboard gangsters, but that is like because for you to be so pro Diddy, because I do feel like it's another thing to say, okay, look, if you're going to charge them appropriately because you set precedents when you do certain things that I don't want to see other people harmed by you doing something inappropriately with these charges. Okay. But for me, when I first started this and heard it and all of that, I was like, okay, I'm ready. Show us what you got because he needs to go to prison. That's how I came into this thing. That's how I came out of this thing. I knew at a certain point that they were going to have a hard time a very hard time convicting him of RICO. But I definitely thought they had enough where I felt and said repeatedly, the only question to me is he's definitely going to go to prison. The only question is for which charges and for how long. Because there was to me there was no free puff position. And for me, there was never a free puff position. Right? So that's wild. People are crazy. People are crazy, crazy. I can't even imagine some of those people who are like free puff or whatever. I mean, it's people with daughters and sisters and mother, and it's just like, yo, even if you think like the freak offs, if you even if you think even if you think all of those were consensual, just think about what went down in those things. Degrading, just we don't even have to get into the details of all of that. So anyway, like I said, a lot more to come. Y'all know all of this is still a bit ways out from over. I will be very happy when they do get the sentencing. Hurry up, get the sentencing so we could just go ahead and let this, run its course. And if Diddy holds up to what he's done in the past, it won't take long before he'll find himself in one of these situations again. All right. So I hope you all can enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Um, and hold on one second. Exquisite just popped up another comment. Predators moving flocks, Kendrick reference. The community supporting him are like him. By their fruits, you will know them, as scripture says. All right. You'll get no debate from me on that at all. At all. Exquisite, I really, really do appreciate you engaging so much in this live. I really do. I don't know if I've ever seen your name before. I don't know if you're a subscriber to the channel or not. So I don't remember seeing like a comment or anything from you on any of the other videos. But nevertheless, saying all that to say, thank you for being here and thank you for your engagement. I do appreciate that. And I like having the open dialogue. They said one last update just came in from CNN. Said how Combs reacted when the judge denied his bail. When the judge denied bail, Sean Diddy Combs' mouth dropped and his eyes widened. So when he fell to his knees today, when he didn't get convicted of the serious charges, he just knew he was going home. Oh, Diddy. Oh, Diddy. Exquisite, I know you feel a way about that as we all should. When the judge denied bail, Sean Diddy Combs' mouth dropped open and his eyes widened. What do you say? What do you say? I was a subscriber. I think I posted a few comments on your content. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I am still relatively new at doing this, so I'm just trying to work these muscles and get better at it. So I definitely appreciate the support and I appreciate the engagement. And I thought I was going to join maybe a panel tonight, but now I don't know. I think I got another story I could be doing on what's going on in the trial with Drake versus UMG. I might do that because I think I've had my fill of Diddy for today. We'll see. We'll see. But again, I hope you all are having a good Wednesday. Please thumbs up the live. If you're watching this post live, please drop a comment, share your thoughts, your opinions, your perspectives. All your views are welcome. Like I said, for me to delete a comment, somebody has to like say something like inflammatory, like using the N word or something crazy, right? So let's keep it cute. Let's keep it cute. Let's keep it cute. Okay, I'm with you, Exquisite. I think I've had my fill on this. I need to do something much lighter. I feel like I need to watch something on TV that's much lighter, just so to have the whoos moment. Right. All right, y'all. Until the next time. Oh, and if you are not a subscriber and you're checking my channel out for the first time, please consider subscribing. I would appreciate the support. Yes, and that there is some traction right now, Exquisite, with that case in court. So there's some things that could be we could be doing on that as well with live streams. So I definitely want to stay very close to that because, I'm a big time Kendrick fan over here. If you didn't know. And so yeah, I'll definitely be following that. All right, y'all. Until the next time, stay safe. Don't let these people get on your nerves too bad. Avoid these crazy Diddy supporters Exquisite has told us about. Okay. Yes, the Tyler Perry and Derek Dixon one. I actually have a video on my channel where I read the whole complaint. And I read the whole complaint because when I first saw the text messages from Derek Dixon, I was like, huh? Where's the stuff? I need to see the $260 million stuff because I couldn't get what I couldn't get it from the text messages. So I did a video on my channel to read the whole complaint. So that's that. And so if that gets any traction, we'll definitely follow that here as well. And then there's also the case that may be coming up soon with the two track stars and with one being unalived and that type of thing. So that I might do that. This is where I still, as a content creator, I'm going to have to find my way because I know I'm going to have a certain amount of capacity like to do the heavy and dark things. Because at a certain point, it's like it's just too much, right? But we'll see. We'll see. Unfortunately, we have a few cases coming up that might be something to live stream and get some engagement around. All right, Exquisite. I feel like chatting with you in this live right now is like chatting with one of my sisters where I'm like, girl, I'm going to have to hang up on you because I keep talking to you. But I appreciate you. All right, y'all. Until the next time, bye, y'all.